to sidetrack here, but you made me think writing poetry. You know who Phyllis Wheatley is?
The name sounds familiar.
So Phyllis Wheatley was the first kind of poet laureate of America. She was a free black girl up in Boston, and Benjamin Franklin took her on tour, and she would read poetry. She wrote poetry about George Washington and the troops, and he had her out, reading to the troops. She's an amazing figure in African American history.
That is a story that the public school system would never let me know, because they don't want me to think that in the past there was at least some hope and some semblance of respect for our race. They wanted us to see us as perpetual victims. And before I did any of my own research, that's what I saw myself as. Joe Biden said in 2012 that that if you elect Mitt Romney and those Republicans, they're gonna put you back in chains. No, Joe Biden, I was never in chains. You tried to put us in chains with your racist crime bill in the 90s, but we had to get ourselves out of that, and President Trump got us out of that. They've been raising us from the very beginning in the public school system to see ourselves as nothing but victims. I never knew about the story. What's her name again?
Phyllis Wheatley.
I never knew it. Never knew it. That's the most insane thing ever. They want us to think, and they're tearing down the statues of our founding fathers left and right. They're starting with the Confederate guys, but now they're approaching Thomas Jefferson and George Washington, and I'm sure they'll get at Ben Franklin too, even though he is the one who took that black woman on tour.
And he was also one of the first abolitionists in America.
Exactly.
So, are you unique, or are there other kids like you?
I'd say that Generation Z is, and if we're going to sidetrack a little bit, my album Dark Winter actually just recently came out, discussing all sorts of cultural things.
And wait, Dark Winter, does that come from Joe Biden when he was saying
it does? I was watching it, and he would say, we're in for a dark winter, and this was right after he was elected, and I was like, oh my God, please stop. But the very first track on my album is called Hero Generation, and this is actually a phrase that one of my followers sort of gave us after my speech in Washington, D.C. on November 14th, shortly after the election, when I was sort of talking about all sorts of different things, and one of my followers had said it, and I said it in my speech because I was like, listen, we need to all come together. This is not just about today now. This is about the future. This is about a president who wants to bring onto America a dark winter. Meanwhile, we have 10, 11, 12-year-old kids who are going to have to grow up in this. We need a hero generation of young people to stand up and fight back, because we have all these different adults, boomers, Gen Xers, whatever phrase you want to call them, adults that are fighting right now. But they have children, they have grandchildren, they have nieces, they have nephews that are going to be needing to stand up in the future. So I want to encourage as many young people as I can to stand up right now and fight by my side, because the youth are the future. We have Greta Thunbergs and we have David Hoggs fighting on their side. Well, we need Chandler Crumps on our side. We need young people standing up out there that are willing to stand up. And I name drop them on the song because these are my friends. These are people who are with me, who are fighting for the exact same movement I'm fighting for. And I want to lead the charge.